We are minutes away from Vertical Aerospace reporting fourth quarter and full financial year earnings. And this is a big one, not just because of progress, but because of timing, runway, and expectations. And it's also one I always look forward to because Vertical consistently delivers a high standard, well-structured presentation. So we are expecting clarity, not just commentary. Today comes down as three things, three key things: certification, execution, and cash. Hey up everyone, welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. I'm Vaz. Do you know what time it is? Time to start talking eVTOLs. Today, Vertical Aerospace, fourth quarter of 2025 and the full financial year. We are a bit tight with time. I am monitoring the situation. I'm monitoring the call. We are starting in about 6 or 7 minutes, if you will. Today's theme. We already have some updates. We have the presentation out. We have the investors letter out. So let's just quickly break it down and we will hear directly from the CEO, Stuart Simpson. We will hear from the chairman, Donald Slattery, and we will hear from David King, the chief engineer. All these updates broken down into the tiniest pieces. Right, we have some, let's just quickly explain what is going on. Vertical Aerospace, quickly explain their market position. Vertical Aerospace are building and developing an eVTOL. What is an eVTOL? They are also known as the flying taxis. eVTOL, electric, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. This is literally explaining what this aircraft does. It can take off vertically, literally on the dime, move efficiently, horizontally, and land both vertically and horizontally as well. The main reason for these, or the primary design and purpose and use case, is their efficiency, and is to beat the urban traffic. That's why these are very likely to be called the flying taxis. They are electric, so they are green, they are more quiet as well, and they are much safer. Think of efficiency and think of the ecologic side. VX4 is their core aircraft, which has been now through probably hundreds of hours of testing, piloted testing as well. We have some update from Vertical, and we will hear some update on the earnings call. That's not it. We also have their main product, the final version, Valo aircraft. And there will be some more update on the earnings call, but also Vertical have announced they have set up the pilot production line for batteries for this very aircraft. So Vertical are not waiting. Vertical are not looking around. They are just going straight forward, and they are still on the track. And again, there'll be more update on this. There'll be more in-depth explanation by the CEO or by the chair. So this is the Valo aircraft. Their market position is, obviously, they are not the market leading company. The market leading companies are Archer Aviation, Joby Aviation, but Vertical are not staying behind. They are keeping up with the head of the race. One key thing, their financial means are a bit constrained, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because that makes Vertical much more operational efficient. And Vertical have been operating on much lower cash burn compared to the market leading companies, compared to Archer and Joby. If you consider Joby's and Archer's cash burn per 1 quarter, Vertical are well off with this amount of money for 2, maybe 3 quarters. Just to put this into perspective, Vertical are also British based, so they are not American based. So the financial situation might not be as optimistic or as privileged, as you would say, as the market leaders. However, Vertical are not staying behind, and they are keeping up with the head of the race. And what else could prove this? That Vertical are one tiny step closer to completing their fully piloted, the final phase of their test flight piloted transition. It's the most complex and most demanding maneuver. Once they complete this stage, they have been through the full test phase, and they can move on to the full-blown certification phase, progress and endeavors. This is their aircraft as of last week, and this week they have successfully, there'll be an update on the earnings call, but they successfully have completed the first phase of the transition and the last phase of the transition. So think of these propellers at the front. They rotate, they tilt forward, they obviously rotate, but they tilt forward and upward. What Vertical have done, they have done from the horizontal flight up to 40 degrees up, which is significant range of movement. And obviously the coordination and the engineering side of it is very complex and requires a lot of coordination. What they also have done is the opposite way around. So from 90 degrees, slowing down all the way to 55 degrees. So we literally have only 15 degrees, the final step, and then connect the 90 and 0 degree tilt. And once we've done it, it's complete. Vertical have completed successfully piloted transition. Once they do it, no doubt this will be massive positive news for the company. Before we get to the call, we are about 1 minute away. Vertical Aerospace have been touring with their aircraft, which they unveiled last December in London. We were part of the official event very proudly, but Vertical Aerospace have now been touring the United States, starting in New York, moving on to Miami Beach, and recently, a couple of weeks ago, it was Atlanta Verticon, the biggest vertical aircraft trade show. So Vertical are not waiting around, and that is reflected in the increased interest of their existing customers. They are renewing their interest and also locking in. Locking in is probably not the best word, but attracting new customers as well. We should be now starting the call. Let me quickly check if we are okay. The music is still coming through. I will keep talking to you. I'm listening to the music. I can't play the music because of copyright reasons. I'll keep the updates for you. Vertical Aerospace. And literally, speaking of which, let's get back in the main studio and listen to the CEO.
Business and strategy update call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press star 1 again. Thank you. I would now like to turn the call over to Samuel Emden, Head of Investor Affairs. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I'm delighted to welcome you to Vertical Aerospace's full-year business and strategy update call. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that during today's call, we'll be making forward-looking statements. These statements involve risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially. Any forward-looking statements we make are based on assumptions as of today. We undertake no obligation to update these statements as a result of new information or future events. We've posted an accompanying slide deck to our investor relations website at investors.verticalaerospace.com, which contains detailed information on forward-looking statements. For a more complete discussion about these risks and uncertainties, we have filed our 2025 annual report with the SEC earlier today. Please now let me hand over to our chairman, Donal Slattery.
Good morning, and thank you, Samuel, and thank you all for joining us this morning. So over the past several weeks, we've had the privilege of hosting a series of Valo showcase events here in the UK in London, New York, Miami, and most recently in Atlanta. These events brought together our airline partners, our investors, regulators, our suppliers, and the broader advanced air mobility ecosystem. And what has stood out most was the energy and the enthusiasm around the opportunity ahead. And before getting into today's earnings call, we wanted to give you a taste of it. I'm standing in front.
I cannot play the audio for copyright reasons, but these are just headlines from the content. We might see our content on there as well. It's the presentation from the United States tour. Again, I cannot play the audio, unfortunately. Just a quick showcase of what has been broadcasted through the media.
The message was consistent. The market is ready for safe, quiet, zero emissions urban air mobility. And the response to our aircraft, Valo, has just been extraordinary. This is the product that is redefining the eVTOL market globally. Now, before we dive into the detailed content of today's call, let me take a step back just to address some key top-of-mind issues. First, on our flight test progress. I'm delighted that our Chief Engineer, David King, will go into this in further detail later. But to sum it up, we are in the final innings of completing full pilot transition under the regulatory oversight of the CAA. We are close to being complete with the 5 profiles and expect to have this finalized soon. On capital, as Stuart will speak to later this call, cash is critical through certification. And despite annual spend being a fraction of our peers, we will need to continue to raise capital. We are exploring all of the options that are available to us right now across the capital markets, strategics, and with government support. And we will execute that when it is the right moment for the business. Stuart will take you through the detail of that later. Today, our call will be broken into 4 sections to address some of the key issues and questions we hear from our stakeholders. First, we'll talk you through the aircraft. We'll talk you through Valo, the size, the modularity, and safety that makes Valo the industry-leading electric eVTOL. Following that, our Chief Engineer, David King, will walk you through our piloted transition flight test progress, and he will provide a detailed breakdown of where we are today and the remaining elements to be completed. Then our CEO, Stuart Simpson, will do a deep dive on our battery technology. And we believe this technology underpins both Valo and our hybrid aircraft and gives Vertical Aerospace a differentiated power platform. Finally, we will discuss our current financial snapshot and our plans for capital raising. So, first, Velo. The excitement around Velo is not just about the promise of the category, it's about the product itself. Unquestionably, Velo is the highest quality eVTOL aircraft in development globally today. It combines the safety architecture of a modern commercial aircraft with the performance and efficiency required for real-world commercial airline operations. Our design philosophy has always been clear. Build an aircraft that meets the standards of the best airlines in the world today. We have developed Velo together and working in collaboration with our customers for well over 5 years. And that is why it has some key differentiators other eVTOLs in the market simply do not have and cannot have because of their designs. Why Velo has a seat next to the pilot for training, separate luggage bay. And critically, the aircraft sizing to accommodate 4, then 5, and then 6 passengers. This is the first truly upgradable aircraft, improving economics for our operators. With our largest cabin and the modular architecture, Velo is without doubt the perfect fit for multiple applications across the emergency, medical services, cargo, and beyond. And we plan to be the leader in the hybrid electrics defense space. And we look forward to deepening our discussions already underway with militaries around the world, but particularly here in Europe, in the run-up to the Farnborough Air Show later this year in July. As we've spoken about several times, we are deliberately a pure play OEM, relying and collaborating on Tier 1 aerospace partnerships who allocate the best talent in the world, the absolute best resources and IP to the development and the certification of our aircraft. And we have now contracted the vast majority of those partners. And we look forward to bringing the final partners on board later this year as we progress towards critical design review this summer. And with that, I'm delighted to hand over to David King, our Chief Engineer. David.
Good morning, all, and thank you, Donald. Let's talk about flight testing. We've been flight testing a full-scale piloted prototype of Velo for 20 months now. In November, we began piloted transition, the phase where the aircraft moves between hovering over a spot as needed for vertical takeoff and landing and wing-borne flight, Velo's cruise condition. This flight testing is progressing steadily under disciplined UK CAA oversight. And here's a short video to give you a flavor.
As the chief test pilot, I cannot play the audio. They are talking about the lessons they've learned. Unfortunately, I cannot cover the audio track for copyright reasons. They are commenting on their progress, their cooperation with the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority. She just said this is essentially the mini certification aircraft, this testing prototype. He's now explaining the transition. Starting from the vertical flight and then transitioning into the horizontal and backwards. They started, that was phase 2, that was tethered, hover, across phase 3, wing-borne, fully wing-borne flight, and now it's phase 4, it's coming to the full transition. You can see the propellers, the front propellers tilting, and the aft propellers, the rear ones, they are stowing. They're saying they are very nearly, they just need to close the gap. They're very close to some demonstration flights as well.
We are nearing completion of the transition flight test phase, and the data we are collecting each flight is directly informing certification of our final commercial design. By doing the disciplined engineering and regulatory work up front, in close collaboration with the CAA, we reduce certification risk and avoid redesign later. As Simon Davis, our chief test pilot, explained in the video, we've approached full transition incrementally from both ends, validating performance and building an evidence base before moving to the next test point. We've accelerated from a hover, tilting the propellers forward from vertical orientation of 90 degrees. We've decelerated from wing-borne flight, tilting the propellers aft from horizontal. We are methodically and incrementally closing the gap, studying the wealth of valuable data at each step while working side by side with our certification authority. For example, we recently took advantage of a break in the UK weather to complete a piloted profile with a conventional runway takeoff, a deceleration from wing-borne cruise condition, a controlled deployment of the stowed rear props, 40 degrees of upward prop tilt while slowing down towards thrust-borne, and then accelerating back to wing-borne and restowing the rear props before landing. This test demonstrated smooth transitions with optimized software, with the propellers deploying and reparking exactly as designed. By working closely with the CAA up front, we now have a clear, well-defined, tried and tested path to certification. The standards, the criteria, and the means of compliance are published, approved, and have been dry run on the prototype program. This upfront work puts us on track to certify Velo to globally portable airliner safety standards. Then after certification comes entry into service. So I wanted to briefly touch on initiatives to accelerate deployment of an eVTOL operational ecosystem across the globe, including the eVTOL Integration Pilot Program, known as EIPP, recently announced in the United States. We applaud the EIPP program as a means to accelerate the introduction of eVTOL into United States national airspace. As a non-US eVTOL manufacturer, we were not eligible to participate directly in the United States EIPP program. However, we are participating in similarly focused European initiatives to advance the introduction of eVTOL in Europe. In the UK and in the European Union, flight demonstrations are planned and supported by government-backed programs, including the UK government's Future Flight Challenge and, in due course, CESAR in Europe. These are taxpayer-supported initiatives designed to develop infrastructure, air traffic management technologies, and operational procedures for optimized eVTOL operations. These programs will also build public and stakeholder confidence through structured and visible demonstrations. In the UK, we've been a long-standing participant in the Future Flight Challenge, a £150 million government-backed program focused on demonstrating operational readiness and accelerating safe integration of eVTOL technologies. Through this program, we're supporting funded flight demonstrations, including upcoming flights at Skyport's Bicester vertiport and related work to demonstrate the feasibility of eVTOL operations between Oxford and Cambridge. By combining learnings from EIPP in the United States and similar European initiatives, we expect to see accelerated deployment of a safe and effective eVTOL ecosystem across the globe. At Vertical, we are laser focused on executing to our clear pathway from prototype to pre-production to certification and then to full-scale production. Our final prototype aircraft, number 3, has completed its commissioning tests, and last week was the first time we had both of our prototype aircraft running at the same time. By the middle of this year, we will complete critical design review for Velo, the gate which freezes design and enables full throttle on building 7 pre-production aircraft to be conformed to type design and used for certification credit. And now I'll hand the microphone to our CEO, Stuart Simpson.
Thanks, David.
Just very important update on this slide.
Testing progress. We heard Donald speak earlier on what makes Valo a differentiated eVTOL aircraft, but let me touch on Vertical's true secret sauce, which is our battery technology. While our core strategy is to operate as an OEM, utilising partnerships across Tier 1 aerospace suppliers to minimise certification risk, the battery system is our core in-house technology and a key value driver for the business. We source cells and then manufacture the batteries at our world-class facilities. As cell technology evolves, our battery packs will provide increased payload and range to our customers. Vertical's proprietary battery system will support both the electric Valo eVTOL and our hybrid aircraft. The testing we have done to date confirms our current batteries' capabilities to deliver power such that at launch, the Valo will be able to provide lift for 1 pilot, 4 passengers, and 70 pounds of luggage per person. We are already testing the next generation of batteries that will further improve payload and range, ensuring this aircraft will only get better over time. And as announced last week, our battery pilot production line is now operational. In fact, I had the pleasure of undertaking many of the process steps yesterday. In addition, we are expanding our battery manufacturing capability and capacity through the development of a new 30,000 square feet vertical energy centre 2, adjacent to our existing facilities. This new facility will open later this year, and in July, just before the Farnborough Air Show, we will be hosting an investor day at the Vertical Energy Centre to allow our shareholders, prospective investors and analysts to see the progress we are making. More details to come, and we look forward to seeing many of you there. Here is where the true value proposition comes in, our battery as a service business line. We expect batteries to be replaced approximately 1 time per year over the circa 20-year operational life of the aircraft. What this means is a long-term, predictable, high-margin revenue stream. As we've said before, we anticipate margin for this to be circa 40%. Note that our published Flightpath 2030 figures don't include wide-ranging second life opportunities for our batteries. Given European aerospace standards, once the battery degrades below a particular level, circa 93%, the battery will be removed from the Valo, but will be perfect for other applications. Our lightweight and high-power batteries have multiple second life opportunities, including CTOL aircraft, surface transport, marine, and storage. This drives significant additional revenue and margin opportunities for Vertical. We have had multiple inbound requests from third parties wishing to understand our technology and see if and how it is for sale above and beyond us using it in the Valo and our hybrid aircraft. As mentioned in our prior earnings calls, we have shifted from dream to reality, and as David mentioned, laser focused on execution. As seen in 2025, we completed almost 100% of our stated milestones, the final one being transition, which will be closed out imminently. We have made a tremendous start to 2026 across product, customers, and ecosystem. We kicked off the Valo Roadshow in key US hubs, signed a critical supplier partnership with eVTOL for the development and supply of EPUs for the Valo, and made strides on further integration and partnerships in artificial intelligence. We launched new customer partnerships with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Heliair Monaco, JetSetGo, and launched customer networks in and around London, New York, Miami, and Atlanta. Now looking ahead to the balance of 2026, we categorize our operational goals into 3 buckets: aircraft, industrialization, and commercialization. I'd just like to draw your attention to a couple of things. First, we'll be flying at the Farnborough Air Show, and we look forward to seeing many of you there. Second, this year we will open 2 new manufacturing facilities. Third, we will complete the CDR for Valo, locking in the final 25% of suppliers. And finally, we will begin assembly of the first pre-production Valo. This next slide shows that through fiscal year 2025, our spend was in line with our guidance of $110 to $125 million. As stated, this is a fraction of what our main competitors spent, but our progress, particularly in full-scale, piloted and regulated test flight, remains industry leading. Our cash and cash equivalent position is $93 million as at the 31st of December 2025. As of today, our short-term liquidity is estimated at approximately $85 million, comprising cash on hand and anticipated near-term receipts. Our ATM facility, which was put in place in September 2025, has a remaining capacity of approximately $78 million. Over the next 12 months, we anticipate spending circa $190 to $200 million as we ramp up our manufacturing footprint and move into the assembly of the first Valo. With that, I'll hand back to Donald for closing remarks.
Thank you, Stuart, and thank you, David. We would like everyone on this call to walk away with just 3 key messages. First, our approach to flight testing is intentional, it's disciplined, and certification focused. We are deliberately expanding the flight test envelope systematically to extract maximum value to de-risk the ultimate Valo certification program. Secondly, we have optionality when it comes to capital raising, and we will execute when it is the right time for the business and our shareholders. And 3, as Stuart illuminated, our battery technology is a key differentiator in our business model. With its high power and lightweight, use cases support our eVTOL and hybrid aircraft, along with multiple other applications in adjacent industries that we intend to pursue. So with that, we'll hand over to Samuel to open up the line for questions. Thank you, Samuel.
Thanks.
Don't go anywhere. We will have questions and answers now, and I'll send you off to Martyn for the opening bell.
The Q&A with one of them. So
we have submitted our questions as well. Let's see if we are lucky.
At the Valo event in London, is there a credible likelihood of meaningful state financial support from the UK?
Stuart, maybe you could take that one, please.
Thank you. It's a good question. We have had tremendous support from the UK government. If you look at it over the prior years, this is up to around $100 million. And it shows the UK's commitment to aerospace. And it's why we're based here in the UK, in the heart of the European aerospace industry. Now, the government knows we've had approaches from several other European countries as we move from the R&D phase to the industrialization phase of being a business. We have had incoming requests for us to relocate to several European countries and many US states. However, we remain committed to being anchored in the UK and are working closely with government to find a way to make sure that happens.
Great, thank you. Hand over to the operator.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you just joined and are new to this sector, definitely subscribe, because we are bringing you updates on the eVTOL market daily.
First, I just want to check in on your comment. You said about the pilot full transition. You said it's very, very soon. Are there any regulatory hurdles that you're waiting for? I know weather has been an issue at times. Perhaps just elaborate on what's left to do.
Yeah, thanks, Edison. This is David. Thanks so much for the question. The short answer is the S curve. So if you were to, and this is normal for envelope expansion, if you were to plot up test pass on the y-axis versus time on the x-axis. This type of testing, you typically see a curve that looks like an S leaning to the right, in that it's the last few tests that have this tail end with this low slope, and that's where we are right now. So over the last couple of months, we did have a difficult winter, as you said. Records were broke in Bristol. I think there were 22 straight days without any sun and 45 straight days with rain. So we did have some weather difficulties, but with the springtime now, we're starting to see the forecast starting on Thursday to start get a little bit better. So yes, we just have these last few tests to pass. And as we go through it, what we have done, and we tried to highlight this in the messaging, is that we are doing these tests side by side with the certification authority, the UK CAA. We are using our approved design organization, our DOA procedures, which are the same procedures we're going to use for certification to conduct the flight testing. So just to give you an example, as we conduct a test, we take the thousands of data points and then we compare it against our predictions that come from physics-based models. Where we see a slight deviation, we flag that and we say, hey, we need to understand what that is before we move on. And when we have to go update and tweak our performance predictions in our models, then we go back to our airworthiness data package and update the appropriate sections to ensure that we still comply with the full airworthiness with this modification to the models before we move on to the next point. So it's using a certification process on the prototype, which is dry running it to reduce the risk of certification later.
Understood. Appreciate the color. Separate topic on the strategic. From my understanding, there's been discussions going on. Any update on when we could maybe get something? And should we think about the full transition that I just asked about as a precursor for some type of strategic to come in?
Edison, it's Donald. So the conversations that we are having with strategics are ongoing, and they've been ongoing now for a number of months. I'll refer back to our last earnings call. I think it's clear that the successful transition is a catalyst to moving to deepening those conversations into something tangible occurring. Okay, so the focus right now from the entire organization is to complete that transition successfully and as quickly as possible from where we stand today. And the reality is, it's taken us longer than we anticipated. On our last earnings call, I specifically said it's weeks, not months. Well, actually, as I was thinking about it this morning, it's months, not weeks. But we are very, very close at this juncture.
Understood. And just lastly, for me, on the hybrid military side, I know you sort of alluded to some things earlier. Is that something that could, happen as we get closer to Pharma, where you maybe announce some efforts or some programs? That's obviously a very hot topic or hot area, given what's going on in the world. So curious your thoughts there.
Yeah, so maybe I'll bring in David just to give you some flavor from Verticon, and we can supplement that, David.
Yeah. Thanks, Donald. Just to give you the perspective that I heard from the vertical lift community at the Vertical Aviation International Trade Show in Atlanta a week and a half ago, where people looked at the Velo and the differentiators resonated, and one of those was the size of the aircraft and the ability to upgrade it to a hybrid configuration without changing the airframe. Essentially, just taking the spacious baggage bay and inserting a turbo generator system. And we are demonstrating that on our prototype aircraft number 3. So the feedback that I heard was, with the size of Velo and the versatility, what we were forecasting for the defense market, we're not forecasting high enough. It is what I was hearing from the people. And as you mentioned, with the geopolitical situation as it is today, there are different opportunities. One that was talked about was distributed contested logistics, where they said, if you look at the defense opportunities that are coming, They're based on vertical takeoff and landing in a configuration that can be turned into an autonomous platform quickly. And that's part of the value proposition of Valo and the Honeywell flight control system is it's one small step from fully autonomous. And then to be able to have the room and the payload and the capacity in the baggage bay for the logistics to be able to turn it into that mission and open up a large set of demand.
And maybe just to supplement that, Edison, we believe we are the only eVTOL manufacturer in the world that can basically create a hybrid from the current airframe, as David touched on. But from a time frame perspective, we'll have that aircraft certified in 2029. Our competitors are multiple years behind in that regard. Now, in terms of commercializing that and actually generating sales, we're now dedicating a significant amount of internal resources to defense sales. And I hope during the course of this year, maybe as soon as the Farnborough Air Show, we'll be able to share some progress in that regard. But unquestionably, we've got the best product. We now need to make sure we can sell it.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Our next question comes from Amit Dayal with H.C. Wainwright.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking my questions. So, with respect to the timing for the fully, the piloted transition flight, should we expect timing on that to be sort of mid-2026 or maybe later in the second half of 2026?
Hi, thank you for the question. As David alluded to, we're really down to the very last little bit of this. Now, we don't want to commit to a timing because, as David said, each time we put the aircraft in the air, we learn a little bit more.
Has he been listening?
With the weather improving. We actually flew yesterday, which was fantastic. We got some more learnings. Nothing hindered us. We have literally a handful of flights to do to accomplish full transition as we sit here today. Now, the timing of that, very difficult to commit to because, as David said, we have the weather to contend with, we have new learnings. So it's something we anticipate over the coming weeks, I would say. Hopefully that gives you a bit of colour commentary about it.
What a waste of question. What has he been doing for the past half hour?
If there was sort of a concrete timeline to that, but I can take that offline. The other question was the battery efforts, the 190 to 200 million spent for the next 12 months. Does that include your battery needs as well?
Yes, absolutely. The 190 to 200 is a rolling 12 months from end of March. It covers everything we need to do to remain on track with Flight Path 2030, delivering our new battery facility, our new aircraft manufacturing facility, the conversion of aircraft 3 into a hybrid, and the build of the first Valo. So that financial number I mentioned covers all of the things we said we'd be doing in 26.
Got it. Thank you, Stuart. And then this last one, the strategic investor you are sort of courting and the other financial options that you are sort of, looking at, how urgent are these, needs given where the balance sheet is, or are you comfortable, at least for the remainder of 2026, to execute according to plan?
Hi. We're pretty comfortable as we sit here today. We've got line of sight to circa $160 million as we sit here today. We're in constant discussions amongst a range of options for financing, and we'll execute as and when the time is right for the company. So we don't feel under pressure to do it. We'll do it as and when it's right for the company and the current shareholders.
That's all I have, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for the question.
That was a good answer. That was a very clever and very good answer.
From Louis DePalma with William Blair.
Stuart, Domhnall, and David, good afternoon, and congrats on the development of Valo and the demonstrations in London, New York City, and Miami. For my first question, I was wondering, following these demonstrations and your tests thus far, how do you feel that your Valo aircraft stacks up with peers in the market? Is the main difference between vertical and peers the balance sheet right now?
Yeah, Louis, great to hear from you. So, I mean, we fundamentally believe, that we've got the best product in terms of the size, shape, and scale and its capabilities. We've believed that for a very long time. We've now shown the physical embodiment of that to our stakeholders, particularly in the United States, over the last couple of months. So people have sat in the aircraft. People have seen the quantum of baggage that the aircraft actually takes. They've seen the cockpit and the segregation, which provides a very safe environment for the pilot. And so people are now getting really convinced that Valo, as designed, is the category killer in this space. It is not a minimum viable product that we believe some of our other competitors are developing. So bar balance sheet, we think we've got the best product. We also think we've got the best supply chain collaboration globally, particularly with some of the major partners we have like Honeywell, Aciturri. But finally, we've got the best customer base. And at the end of the day, it's the customer base determines the success or failure of an aircraft. And if you look at our customers, they're globally diversified, tier one airlines, many of them, and all of them are fully engaged in the constant development of the aircraft. And today we're actually speaking from our battery facility here in the UK, where I've just been brought through some of the unique proprietary battery systems that we've developed. We've basically collaborated on almost everything else with the aircraft because we think almost everything else is going to get commoditized. The battery, as Stuart said, is the special sauce. And our team is the best in the world in the development of our battery technology. So it's no surprise that we're convinced that we've got the best product, but all of our stakeholders are telling us that now.
Great. That's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Very interesting
Thank you, Louis.
updates. I'm loving
Your
this.
next question comes from Austin Moeller with Canaccord Genuity.
Hi, good morning. So just my first question here. Can you talk a little bit about the R&D and CapEx plans over the next 12 months that fits into the $195 million in cash you expect to burn? Like, how many aircraft do you expect to build as part of that?
Hi, Austin. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the continued support. The 190 to 200 million is a rolling 12 months from the end of March. As I mentioned earlier, it covers everything we have laid out in Flight Path 2030 and today that we are going to achieve over the coming 12 months. So that is the public flight displays of the current prototype. It is the conversion of one of those into a hybrid. It is the expansion of the battery center where we are today, as Donal mentioned. It's the build of our aircraft manufacturing facility. And really importantly, it is the start of the build of the first Valo. So everything we said we'd be doing over this 12 months, that is funded within that $190 to $200 million.
Okay. And then is there an active program of record or the equivalent in the UK of Ministry of Defense right now to procure a hybrid VTOL aircraft? And are there other similar programs in the works with some of the allied NATO militaries?
So we've had multiple conversations across many different defense customers and defense partners in Europe and the US. There is no official program of record that we're attached to. However, we're in deep discussions with the UK government about this hybrid product. As David alluded to from his feedback from Verticon, we are totally unique in this space in that we will be certifying a hybrid product in 2029 in an airframe that is sized and capable and perfectly usable by the military now. We do not have to go and redesign and defer this. So that is generating significant interest across the whole world for our product. We anticipate being able to close out something in that space over the coming months, the rest of this year. because we definitively have the best product for the military. As Donald said, it's been widely recognised. Now we've showcased the Valo, and that reads right across into the hybrid space as well. And David also touched importantly on autonomy. We are perfectly placed because of our deep strategic partnership with Honeywell. So we are the first choice for military.
Okay. And just my last question, have you narrowed down any of the on the market or available hybrid powertrains to like one or two options yet?
We have actually. We've got a short list. I don't think we've announced who we're going with yet, but we've had wide-ranging discussions. And interestingly, everyone wants to work with us because they've seen we have an airframe that is going to be highly, highly successful. So we have had inbounds for us for people that are absolutely desperate to be our partners on this, because we are leading the way in the military and dual use space.
Yeah. And in that regard, Austin, we have European and US alternatives from tier one suppliers who have gone from being, I would say, mildly interested in vertical and our hybrid to being intensely focused because they can see the applicability. And to David's point, they also can see the absolute scale of the market opportunity, which I believe right now we are currently underestimating. And we're going to have to take a good look at the scale of that defense opportunity globally, not just in Europe, but globally, to ensure that our internal forecasts are really accurately reflecting the depth of that market opportunity, which is getting literally deeper by the month and quarter, given the scale of the budgets, particularly in Europe, that the European governments are allocating to defense.
Very exciting. I'll pass it back there. Thanks.
Thanks, Austin.
Your next question comes from Chris Pierce with Needham.
It's a very good block of Q&A.
Everyone.
Very good.
I was hoping to go a little bit deeper on the transition delays. Maybe delay is too harsh a word, but either way, I'd just love to hear sort of, if we think about a pie or 100%, however you want to bucket it, like what's within your control and what's been that you haven't been able to control from November till now. And like in the US, we have like Flight Aware. We can sort of track and see flights that people are kind of flying. Have there been weeks where you haven't been able to fly and that's significantly pushed things out? Or I guess kind of just let us know sort of what's been going on in at Cotswold.
So let me I'll give you a little bit of color commentary, then I'll hand to David. So you said were there weeks we couldn't fly. I mean, there were months we couldn't. It rained for 46 days in a row, as David said. We need a permit to fly every time we put the aircraft in the air, and we can't do it when it's raining. So there were 46 days in a row we could not fly. Just to orientate you, it isn't all in our control. Now, David, if you want to give maybe a little bit more technical color commentary.
Well, certainly around the pie chart, David. I mean, how close are we? I mean, if you were to give a sense in a pie chart basis.
Yes. And so in terms of the number of tests that we have to do, it's less than 10% in a pie chart. It's in the tail end of the S curve. So we're on that tail end of the S curve. And, as Stuart said, if you were then to create another pie chart that said, okay, what were the sources of not flying when you initially planned to fly? The biggest one was weather. And it was, a really rough January, February. But on top of that, we also are doing envelope expansion testing. And as we do envelope expansion testing, each test point brings a database of data that gets compared with our predictions. So the wind conditions, we have a tight tolerance as well, because we don't want to have that noise associated with the atmospheric disturbance. So in terms of the weather, the clouds, the wind conditions, that was the first one. And then the second one was, as we conduct the tests and as we find that we have to make some adjustments to our predictive models to update our database, then we update the database and go through our full design organization procedures to get that new airworthiness document approved side by side with the CAA before we go to the next test.
And maybe, Chris, just to bring that a little bit more to life, because the environment that we're here in Europe is different to the United States. We are testing under a regulatory oversight. In the United States, it's an experimental. The regulatory oversight effectively means that every time we fly, we have to receive a permit to fly, which means we sit with the CAA, we walk them through the learnings from the previous flight, any observations, any amendments, any changes. And that process is, because it's the safest in the world, it is sequential. And unfortunately, it's slow. But slow is good because it means it's intentional and it ensures that we're flying in the safest manner possible. We all wished this was faster, but we're very comfortable about where we stand. And to David's pie chart picture there, we're into the last 10%.
Can you sort of help us with how slow is slow on those two sort of buckets that you just talked about? You fly, you compare the data, you have to tweak to, versus what you saw versus what you expected, and then you need to take that to the CAA and then get approval to fly the next time. Are we talking days, weeks? Like, what is the time frame between when you fly and when you're ready to fly the next time? And what's in your control and out of your control as far as that goes as well?
Yeah, it depends on the issue. We've had some issues that we get resolved in days. We've had a couple of issues over the last few months that have taken several weeks, actually. The good news in that scenario is we weren't able to fly anyway because of the weather. That's just the nature of the regulatory framework that we find ourselves in. It is the nature of 10 to the minus 9. But when we get through it, we will have the safest, commercially safest aircraft in the world. So the pain will be worth the gain.
Chris, and just to give a final little comment on that, when we've taken learnings and made little tweaks, the joy of this is this aircraft we're flying now directly reads over to the Velo. So if you look at a top-down view of the Velo, the prototype, the rotors are the same size, the wing is the same size and shape, the rears are almost exactly the same. So a lot of this stuff where we've had a few days delay or weeks delay, for example, this is stuff that we don't have to revisit because it goes directly into the Velo design. So we may have lost a little bit of time here, but we've actually de-risked certification. This is one of the key things you've got to remember here. This de-risks certification. Every single time we go back to the CAA, we sit with them, with their experts, with our experts, we agree a way forward, and that is baked in knowledge, learning, and technical results and technical solutions that will be baked into the Velo. So it actually accelerates the whole program, which is why
I appreciate all the
extremely confident.
Thank you for all the details. Very much appreciated. Okay, and then just one other one. You guided to a 12-month cash burn of $200 million or $195 million. Is there any reason to think the next 12 months prior to that will be meaningfully different from that? As you ramp, like if I'm looking at slide 17, you've got the 7 certification aircraft you're going to build. Like as we think about burn going forward before you have entry into service and revenue, how should we think about burn beyond the next 12 months? Just conceptually.
Yeah, we've actually put that out. I think Flight Path 2030, we've talked about the cash certification. It might be a little bit up on the 200, but it's in that ballpark. That's the way to think about it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Your next question comes from David Zazula with Barclays.
Hey, good afternoon, and thanks for taking my question. First question is with respect to the selection of eVTL as the EPU supplier. How has that been received by CAA, EASA, and I guess do you perceive any risk with respect to certification with them relative to kind of the prior established tier 1 supplier you had on the EPU side?
So actually, we didn't have an established tier 1 supplier for certification. We're very proud to have been working with Magical on that. But eVTL, we believe, from a certification perspective, they're already up and running. They already have a DOA in place. They're working on a POA. They're highly, highly respected, and it's proven technology. So this is something from a certification perspective and support from regulatory bodies we're very positive about. And David, if there's anything you want to add?
No, I mean, it's a great question. and there are a couple of attributes of eVTOL that are really a good fit for Valo. The first is, as Stuart said, is they have excellent certification processes in place, and they've really leaned forward on that. And they're not too far away, right? They're near Bicester, and as we mentioned earlier, that Bicester near Oxford is in the Oxford-Cambridge arc, which is one of the prime use cases for eVTOL in the United Kingdom. And so being here in the United Kingdom, it gives us advantage to work together on the UK CAA certification. And we have very complementary certification processes in place.
Super helpful. And I mean, maybe can you frame how do you think they'll fit into the broader supplier strategy, how you think the supplier coordination is going to go, and I guess broadly how the suppliers will support your ability to ramp up production over the next couple of years?
Hi, David, thanks. We have been working with most of our supply chain for many, many years. They're deeply embedded in our process. Our whole flight path 2030 and certification date of 2028 has been done hand in hand with our supply chain. So they are there, ready, willing, committed. And as David alluded to, our CDR, a critical design review, where we'll have done the full design envelope of every single component. We're around 75 to 80% through that. Every single complex, long-term, difficult, high-value component we've done. So EPUs, batteries, avionics, flight control systems, the airframe is locked in already, and they are there, ready and willing to make a certification aircraft in 2028.
Super helpful. Thanks. I'll jump back in the queue.
Thanks, David.
There are no further questions at this time. I'll now turn the call back over to CEO Stuart Simpson for closing remarks.
Hi, I'd just like to thank everyone for listening into this call and all of the analysts for the questions. Really, really appreciate it. We are on the cusp of great things at Vertical. David and Donal said, we genuinely believe we have the industry-defining aircraft. The feedback we've had from everyone in this space has been outstanding, way above and beyond what we were expecting. We are going to bring the Valo to life. We will start building it at the end of this year. We'll be flying early next year. It's going to be an amazing 12 months. So thank you very much.
This concludes today's conference. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.
How about that? So, the QA section was probably the most valuable Q&A section I've had in this quarter. What an update! What a breakdown! We had financial possibilities they are exploring. We had the defense possibilities and ventures they are exploring now. Yeah, I'm still digesting it, but I'm blown away. I've learned, again, it's Vertical Aerospace, talking to their investors, completely transparent, completely structured, completely organized. It's amazing. We know, just don't go anywhere, stay where you are. Martyn will be following shortly after me. I'm just waiting for Martyn until he's ready. So I will talk you through probably the opening bell, and I will hand you over to Martyn. He's got a very interesting story for today as well, as you know. But complete transparency, structure, organized, updates on everything, not hiding anything, when they are behind on something. When Martyn is gonna be free in 5 minutes, I'll do the opening bell and I will hand you over to Martyn. Yeah, again, not hiding anything. If they are behind on something, or if something is not working all right, they just are not hiding it. They are giving you clear updates. They are giving you honest insights as well. We heard that financial situation is probably enough to carry them through this year compared to their peers, to the market leading companies. They have been burning per year what Joby or Archer are burning now per quarter. just put this into perspective, how efficient the business is. Also, we heard that they have been eyeing around $160 million. That is another probably 2-3 quarters on top of that. And that is the investor panic that will be gradually increasing as we go through the year. That could be pushed away. However, as you heard, they are not rushing into any panic investments or panic transactions. So that's great. This is again the calmness, the level-headedness of the directors, of the board, and this is why I like vertical aerospace. And this is why I'm invested in vertical aerospace and as an investor, and this is why I trust the business, because of the people at the wheel. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe this could be a big blowout smoke and mirrors theater, but so far vertical have been delivering what they promise and what they have been targeting. So again, very well structured. I love the Q&A section. That was the probably most valuable Q&A of this quarter, definitely. Let me know in the chat. We are running a poll if you are happy with the update. I mean, when I saw the presentation a couple of hours before the earnings call, before I started my show, I was thinking, yeah, it's mediocre, not a big surprise, nothing massive. But then we came to the earnings call, and that was good. That was good. It wasn't loud. It wasn't any massive surprise, but great update. Again, transparency, structure, all in hand. We have lower volume on the pre-market. So vertical has pulled only a few candles since the earnings call started. Let's see what it does through the opening bell and few minutes after the opening bell. I don't know. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? I can't say. But if we have any further retraction, as soon as I get paid next week, I am buying more vertical. This is not financial advice, but I'm happy with what the business is doing. I'm happy with the directors. I'm happy with their progress. I'm seeing Martyn is saying he will go live on the hour. So I will do the opening bell with you. If you have any questions or you want me to address anything, please feel free to let me know in the chat. And we are a few minutes away from the opening bell. In the meantime, yes, I'll be buying more vertical aerospace shares, especially if we have some retraction. Let's see what the markets are doing. We are now few seconds away from the opening bell. This is the market scope as we have it. We have the S&P slightly down, Nasdaq slightly down as well, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum down, and the opening bell will be starting soon. Let me just quickly get this up and running, and we are off to the races. Opening bell. Let me just bring up this. And it looks like the markets are going down. Well, let's have a look. Who else can tell us? Let's have a look at Bloomberg. What we've got here. Got some updates from Bloomberg. I'll play Phoenix as well.
The year is 1991. Birds and people.
Let's play Phoenix quietly. I'll be talking over it. We have a new IPO. We have two new IPOs. We have New York Stock Exchange and we have Nasdaq as well. Do we have the market preview? We don't. Bear with me. I'm just trying to get some better scope. Or actually, eventually, let's go through it as we are. The eVTOL market. Joby is down. Opened at $9.16. Archer Aviation. We are eyeing the levels we've been talking about now. Vertical holding just that would be we're going slightly downwards. EHang. Look at that candle. Horizon Aircraft going downwards as well. We are looking now at the $1.50 level. EM Mobility down as well. Beta Technologies. Not even loading. Beta Technologies big fall through the last minutes before the opening bell. Now let's get to the S&P 500. S&P open downwards. Nasdaq up and down, but pulling now. Green candle. Volatility index is up because we don't have clear guidance on the Mid-East escalations and the Mid-East situation with oil. The UK 100 is steady, but you can see the drop before the market open. What we've got next, Tesla. Look at that big long candle. Tesla is up on the opening bell, 1%, 15. We've got more from Bloomberg as well. Bear with me. We've got Netflix. Music is too high. All right, you couldn't hear me. I've got unmuted. Got technical issues. I do apologize. Technical issues on my side. We are now watching Bloomberg. Let's see what story of the day we've got from Bloomberg. Nvidia is up as well. Martin is loving this. Nvidia opening bell candle, half a percent up. What else we've got? Amazon up, pulling up. Microsoft is red now. As you can see, Microsoft 0.5% down. Gold pulling down as of this morning. Silver copying gold. And what else we've got here? Oil pushing upwards again. Right, that's it. That's the update from the markets. I hope you could hear everything. Although I was a bit loud. What else we've got here? Bitcoin slight green candle, but still sitting just above $70,000. XRP $1.4155, and we've got Ethereum $2,157 per coin. Right, how about that? Let me know about the Vertical Aerospace earnings. I do apologize for the music. My control has let me down somehow because I should have it connected to the button that was not working. Let's quickly address your chat and I will send you off to Martin. He'll be starting shortly after me. So I won't go through all the chat. Let's just go through the most recent messages. Are you happy with the vertical's progress? Yes, 54%. No, 19%. Undecided, 27%. If you are not happy, let me know why you are not happy. I would love to hear back from you. You have link in here. You have link here in the chat. Link here in the chat as well to the next event where Martin will be talking about his special report. It's very interesting content. Definitely, you don't want to miss this. But William Mayer's here. Good morning, everyone. Liz is here. Zion, have a great day. Abby is off to work. Good luck and enjoy. Please, everyone, hit the like button. Yes, definitely hit the like button. And if you are new to this sector, definitely subscribe. We will have more updates from Vertical, and we will be covering Vertical even more. We have been dedicating substantial amount of airtime to Vertical, and no doubt we will see some updates from them. There'll be more reasons to cover them. Great show, Vas. Thank you, says Kurtz. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We had a great audience. Much bigger than on the previous call as well, actually. Liz is happy. Scottish Pete is happy with that. I love it. You as well. Okay, we are off to work with Abby. That's great. Thanks, Vask, for covering. Thank you, Liz, for joining me. I always love Vertical. That presentation, it's so organized and structured and so high standard. It's great. Thanks very much for that, Vas. Great show again, says Scottish Pete. Thank you, Pete, for joining. Tidy Big Dog, the only way is up. I love it. Yes, please, Bell. Yes, we did Bell. Bell. A red day anyways. Is it a red day? Well, let's have a look. What is the market doing 5 minutes after the opening bell? Ethereum is slightly up. Everything else is pulling downwards. But it's not a crash. It's just a red day. So far. Let's see what Martin is going to come up with. Raymond Levi, especially if they go down, I will be buying more. If you are talking about Vertical Aerospace, I am doing the same. I agree with you. Music louder. Yes, I do apologize for the music. I had tech issue. We can't hear you. Well, sorry, you couldn't hear me. Next time I'll be louding a bit louder over the music. It's like a nightclub, isn't it? You can't hear each other. Can't hear you at all. I do apologize for the music. Okay, what else we've got here? Pump it fast, says Scottish Pete. Okay, I do apologize for the last time, and I will keep an eye on it for the next. You know, I haven't done many opening bells. Just bear that in mind. We are drop, guys. My prediction says good. It's alright, Vaz. We were jamming out too. Love it, Avi. It's Brent crude oil back up to 103. Vaz, which eVTOL is leading? I think Joby. What do you think? Says Crypto the Savage. I don't think we can pigeonhole every single eVTOL supplier to say which one is leading. I think we need to look at from 3 different perspectives, because none of these are in full commercial phase. We are still in pre-commercial, pre-production phase. We don't have any revenue. We have just partial revenue and some partial revenue channels. I think we need to look at it from 3 different perspectives. In terms of engineering and flight progress, it's definitely Joby Aviation. In terms of commercialization and marketing for the whole sector and advertising of the whole sector, it's Archer Aviation. And defense integration, it's Archer Aviation as well, as of now. In terms of efficiency and probably aircraft capability and performance, it will probably be Vertical Aerospace. Let's not forget, we also have EHang, who are the most progressed in terms of certification and passenger operation, because EHang have been already flying first passengers in China, in a couple of provinces, in a couple of regions. And let's also not forget about Beta Technologies, who have been not only developing and testing their fully eVTOL aircraft, they have their CTOL aircraft, their horizontal fixed wing aircraft, and they have clocked literally hundreds of thousand flight miles. So again, you can't put a finger on one name and say this is the market leader. There is no such a thing yet, and who does this is biased. It's very clear. If somebody tells you this company is leading the market, they are biased. And they are probably sponsored by the company as well. So just to put this into perspective, you need to look at multiple indicators, because we are not there yet. It's the same as if you say, who is leading the market? Is it Boeing or is it Airbus? Who is the best car brand? Is it Volkswagen? Is it Stellantis? Is it whoever that is? Is it Mercedes Group? You can't say clearly this is the best car make. You have to use different indicators. You have to use different verticals to indicate and measure the success. So again, if somebody tells you otherwise, if somebody says this company is clearly leading the market, the whole market, that's wrong. They need to be specific. And if they are saying this company is leading the market, they are biased. Something to bear in mind, you as an investor who are learning from various sources, not only from us. Rant over. Thank you for listening. I hope I answered your question. Where did we end up? Chat. So we had a poll. Are you happy with Vertical's progress? 54%, undecided 27%, no 19%. If you are not happy, let me know what you are not happy with. Archer are worth a look, definitely. Archer, what is Archer doing? Let's have a look at Archer. Oh, $5.71. I would be waiting. I would wait a couple of days probably. Same with Joby. Ooh, Joby touching $9 again very soon. Archer 570 is a good price, but I think we can see lower levels. I think Archer easily 560, 550 in next couple of days. Don't take this as a financial advice. This is just my own insight. Vertical Aerospace is down, but we could expect this. We could see this. We have now another support $3.20. Then we have the historic all-time low, $2.80. On a bad crash, if the markets don't like, if we have escalation, if we have feet on the ground in the Mid-East, if we have further escalation, if we have some more negativity on the market, on the in the macro conditions as well, we are eyeing this key support. And if this support breaks, that is not good for me as an investor. However, I had great update from the company, and I am waiting until next week when I get paid from my day work and from my full-time job, and I will be buying more vertical. And I might, who knows, if we have a bad crash, I might be exploring options as well. We can discuss on that on Saturday if you want. Join me. EHang, Horizon Aircraft, that I'll be careful with Horizon as well. We can easily see $1.50. EVE Mobility, currently not touching it. It's very risky for me as an investor. It could be development, very steep development downwards, and Beta Technologies as well. Give it probably a couple of weeks when the chart settles down a bit. Let's have a look at what Bitcoin is doing. Oh, Bitcoin is going down closer to the $70,000. XRP just above $1.40, and Ethereum pulling down as well. Gold down on the market open, silver copying gold, and oil is going up. Where is our, that's the London Stock Exchange. London Stock Exchange slightly up on the market open. We've got volatility index is very high. 27 is a lot. Nasdaq going down, and so is the S&P, but not so bad yet. Let's see what Martyn comes out with. What story is Martyn going to bring us? Let's get back in the chat, and I will send you off to Martyn. Where are we? Archer. How many shares do you buy at a time? UK investor, it depends on my situation. I have a very small portfolio compared to what I had before because I had to liquidate towards the end of the year. I am usually buying 5 and 10 shares of whichever company at a time because I'm waiting for lower levels. I'm waiting for more movement on the chart. I'm not buying any high quantity. I'm sort of structuring myself in and laddering myself in, especially when I'm seeing and expecting lower levels. So I'm not doing any massive buys either. 5 shares at a time. That's enough to keep me comfortable with my trades as well. However, if I have the money on the sideline, if we hit the key support, I'm not saying I wouldn't deploy more money in one go. So again, it's all situation depending. Is Joby and Archer still in court? Yes, Kurt. And I will be probably next week. I will bring you eVTOL Daily. We'll be dedicating to all the court cases, just without any noise, without any emotion, without any drama, just plain information, plain facts. And I will break down all the ongoing court cases. You will be well surprised how many they are. Hi, you need a bell. I've got a bell. I've got a virtual bell, which is not belling now. Is it belling? Oh, hang on. You can't hear it now because I muted it manually. I've got a virtual bell, which is actually the New York Stock Exchange bell. Just about that. Archer are worth a look. Yes, definitely. You've done great. Thank you, Scottish Pete. I'm not. Yeah, that was my. How many opening bells have I done? How many openings? Probably half a dozen through my career on the channel. I've done more closing bells. I'm better at that. Never mind. David Kanja is here. A vertical just down. Yes. But I'm not panicking. I'm not I heard from the directors I'm easy and I'm calm. But big money will come in and take over production. This is the thing. When Vertical complete their piloted transition, those last 10% you could hear on the call, when Vertical, use your doorbell, funny, Vertical, when they complete the transition, that could be a big catalyst. Vertical can announce new partnership any day, any week, any month. You heard that they are not rushing. Vertical can start exploring their defense programs. Again, it's not days, it might be weeks, it might be months, but it will happen anytime without any clear indication. And I want to be in that stock. I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines trying to catch it when it starts pumping and going up. So again, I'll be buying a bit more and I'll be waiting and sitting comfortably wherever I need to. Surf and mobility, good question, Ninja Cowboy. Let's have a look at Surf. Surf have not been doing very well because the earnings call was not accepted very well. Yeah, I would be waiting. I'll be well cautious with Surf. It's a great business. I like them. I like what they are doing, but I'll be very cautious with Surf. Let's zoom out a bit. Let's have a look at the 3-month chart. Okay. So we broke the previous levels very heavily. Broke them. I think we might be creating the new low. $1.30. Yeah, it looks like the all-time low as well. Hang on, no, it's not. Where are we? Let me zoom out a bit. It's not the all-time low. What levels we've got here? Yeah, I'll be looking at the previous historic levels. October 24, yeah, carry trade. September, just below $1. $1. Yeah, I think Surf and mobility. I would wait. I would wait. I was going to trade the earnings, but I'm quite happy I didn't. Me personally, I'll be waiting with Surf. I definitely want to own some shares, but I need to wait with, or at least I need to wait with Surf. I've got my money is needed somewhere else. Let me put it this way. Best time to buy more after the support, says Liz. Liz says, I have 99 shares and not selling till they are green again. Congratulations, Liz. With Vertical and all eVTOL stocks, it's a long-term investment. Just bear that in mind. If you want to trade it, you fill your boots, but I would be very careful. I'll be very careful, especially with Vertical, which is very volatile. Thanks, Vaz. Have you much knowledge about Skyport's vertipads? Love your show. Thank you, Crypto the Savage. I've been trying to get in touch with Skyports for the Bista vertiport because I want to bring you some insights because it's on my doorstep. It's 2 hours drive away. Okay, 2.5. It's not a massive one. It's not a massive vertiport. It's literally, where's that? It's literally just a pad. Hang on, how do I open this? Let's open image in new tab and show you this. That is a better picture. Let me put it full screen. Right, this is the Bista airfield or airport. This is the former RAF airport. Well, it's still officially RAF, but they are not using it for the flights, for operations. The vertiport is down here. What you can see, oh, you can't see my mouse. I'll put it in the middle of the screen now. This is where the vertiport is. It's very tiny compared to the airport. And what you can see down here, the innovation in the middle, that is completely new build structure. And actually, I may have a video because I visited Bicester Airport. Would you like me to show you the video? Would you like me to explore if I've got a video or not? Where would that be? I'm just pulling time because Martyn is gonna follow me after now in about 9 minutes. So bear with me. Let's see if I've got it somewhere. Would be here? No, I've got it somewhere. Bear with me. Bear with me. I won't be in here, will it? No. The problem is I moved all my content from the old PC to the new PC when I built a new PC, and I can't find anything now. Where was that? I had video from there. I can't find it now. I'll get ready for Saturday. I'll show you on Saturday. Yeah, I've got video from this structure. This innovation section was under construction. So definitely new structure. That airport is growing. And what you can see, this is literally the vertiport. A little hub for passengers and mainly for operations and for testing. And the landing vertipad. So I've been trying to reach out to Skyports. I've been trying to reach out to the Irish one in Dublin. I don't remember what it's called now. It's a campus. It's part of a campus. It's part of the Dublin airport as well. And I just no luck. But definitely I'll keep trying. I'll be resilient because I want to bring you this content. It's very interesting. Thank you for the support. I can see all your messages coming through. Yeah, so that's about vertiports and vertipads. Skyports, and obviously Skyports are a global company. They are already operating a vertiport or hybrid verti/heliport in New York, in Manhattan. We've covered this quite extensively now with the EIPP and New York and everything. So yeah, I can dedicate a block to Skyports and vertiports in general. It's not a bad idea. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes, we wait. I don't use this money, says Liz. Good. Thanks, Vas, says Ninja Cowboy. Crypto the Savage. Yes. Yeah, I can't. I will show you something else. Hang on. I will show you something else. I now remember. I hope I can find it. Paris. I will show you how difficult it is. I'll show you how difficult it is to do a bit of footage from a show. Yeah. Look at. Hang on. Look at that. That's Paris Air Show. And I'm trying. This is Andrew Rail's stand. Think of just this is Sunday, last day of the air show. I'm there in front of the autonomous aircraft. By the way, this has taken off and has been tested already. And I'm there trying to do a bit of content, like the closing. That was before I realized I've lost all my footage, or most of my footage. But people were just coming through, and they wouldn't, like, they are not bothered that you have camera and a light set up, and they would just, hang on, I've got a moment when, yeah, look, it's just, people don't care. So this is the other side of the air shows as well. Yeah. Oh, look, camera. When people just are so completely oblivious and blatant, and they are just ignoring you, you are trying to do something to provide some value to the public and to the audience. Oh, camera. Oh, camera. Oh, look. So yeah, I spent about probably 3 hours trying to do 20 minutes of footage, and yeah, scenes. Just, yeah, that's me waiting for people to pass, talking. Then I mess it up, so I have to start again, obviously. Yeah, take 57. You didn't see that. Don't tell Martyn, I'll be in trouble. Don't tell Martyn I showed you this. You want to see it again? That's just pure frustration, okay? That's 3 days in the constant heat wave. Have a look at my forehead, how burned that is. Complete frustration because it's like 3 hours of recording, trying to do something, and people are just... Yeah. Okay, let's... I think Martyn will be live in a few minutes. Martyn will be live in a few minutes. Don't tell Martyn. Don't tell on me, because he'll not be happy. Right. I think I will send you off to Martyn. He's ready. Is he live now? Let's have a look at Martyn if he's live. Martyn Lucas. Martyn Lucas. He's not live yet. Insider trading, war, manipulation. Are we all being played and manipulated? So I am saying yes, and I'm also saying Vaz will send me in a minute. And I will wrap it up. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Send us this video on Discord, says Liz. I just wanted to be on the show. Right, I will wrap it up. You won't see me till the end of the week. I will see you next Monday. I'm taking a bit of time off. Thank you, Martyn, for supporting me with that as well. I need to tidy up some things in my personal life and my work life as well. And why is this coming through? And I'll see you next week. So that's it from me. See you in Martyn's show in a minute. Take care of yourselves and each other.